of Edward Johnson. Sit back and relax while we give you advice and tips on business matters and matters of the heart for busy executives. And now, Katrina and Edward. Hello, hello, hello. This is Katrina Brittingham, your navigator on your road to success. I am solo today, but I have an excellent show for you. So, Dr. Love could not make it, so I know you're expecting a love topic, which is the first Monday of every month. So it is actually going to be the second Monday, but today we have a topic for you. We were on the process of reviewing your business plan, shoeing up some things in your business plan, or starting your business plan when you are a startup. Well, this week we're going to talk about what happens after you have all of that together. And the next piece is, how are you going to fund your business? Raising capital for your business. So that is what we are going to be working on for you on today. All right. So I have a presentation for you that I am going to add here. It is raising capital. All right. And understanding the numbers. So you have to understand your numbers for the business, as well as what numbers you're going to need to move your business forward and keep operating and also making a profit. So when you're raising capital for your business, you need to be able to the money that you need to start and run your business is just a virtual fact. You need money to make money. However, one thing to have when you have your business is to get seed money. And this money helps you get started in business, or it helps fund a project that you have for your business. Okay, this is to make sure that you have sufficient capital to sustain your business during the early startup phases. Many good businesses have failed because they did not estimate a realistic funding for their product or services or venture that they're doing with their business, or calculating the startup costs so you can raise sufficient funds. This is critical to the success of your business. We will be discussing how to estimate those costs, where you find the needed capital, if you need to borrow money, what you need to do for that, and understand the numbers overall of what you're bringing in, what your expenditures are. If you are taking out a loan for the business, do you have enough income coming in to make that payment? Because when you make a loan, there is going to be a payment every month. All right. And the accounting process. What do you need to do for your accounting practices? Okay. So the first thing you need to do is to estimate your business costs. All right. And so when you're starting a new business or seeking finances, as an established business, it is important that you carefully estimate how much your operating costs will be. To do this, you need to estimate your initial fixed costs plus your estimated monthly expenses. Your monthly expenses should be projected for three to 6 months. Okay. And that is being the minimum. Okay. If you can project out a little bit further to a year, then that would be better. But 3 to 6 months should give you a good place so you can generate cash flow, cash coming in, cash going out. Your total estimated startup costs or project costs would then be calculated by adding your fixed costs to your monthly projections. All right. And we're going to go into what your fixed costs are. All right, so this is the cost estimator. I'm not sure if you can see it, it's kind of small. So basically, you would have your sample plans for your business or for that product and what the amount would be for that. You have any real estate businesses, if you are going, I'm sorry, buildings, if you are going to rent a venue, like say you have a conference and you're renting space for that, how much is going to cost for that. If you are using a brick and mortar business, and you have conference rooms, what is the cost to use that conference room during business hours or outside of your normal business hours, depending on what your expenses are. If you are virtual and you're using virtual space, how much is the cost for that to run the project? If you have any furniture or fixtures, if you have a home office and you have the desks, the computers, your chairs, those type of things, those are included in your initial fixed costs. All this section is your fixed costs. All right. Any inventory that you have. As far as if you are selling a product, how much is that inventory? How much are the raw materials to put the things together if you're creating it yourself, or to purchase those, or to purchase the products wholesale that you will then sell retail. All right, so you want to know how much that is. Any storage costs for your inventory, your legal fees, if any insurance costs, licenses you might need depending on what you are doing. If it's an outside venue or something like that, you may have to get extra licenses above the license that you need to do business. Any permits that you need to find out about that. If this is a venture or an event versus internal business costs as far as running your overall business. Any deposits that will be made into the business, maybe from your savings or, a gift money, things like that. You want your initial working capital that includes your salaries and things like that. If you're contracting things out, any office equipment or supplies. All right, so your monthly expenses could be your salaries for your permanent FTEs or your full-time employees, not counting any contractors that you have to pay for that, any employee benefits. Again, if you have a loan or you're going to get a loan, you want to estimate the loan payments, your telephone, your auto expenses, if you are using an automobile, your insurance for your automobile and for your business, any taxes, utilities, the rent, all right, maintenance, taxes, including sales taxes, because sales taxes is something that you have to account for and also pay into. Any purchases for your inventory. So if you have to replenish your inventory, those purchases and procurement, your advertising and promotion of your business and or your event or venture, and training of employees, training for yourself, professional development, any of those things, and any other expenses that may be coming up that is not listed here. So then you have your initial fixed cost that you should total up along with your monthly expenses and have that subtotal. You want to subtract, add up all of that and have your estimated cost for either that project or for your startup. Oh, excuse me. All right. So the next thing that you are looking into are your funding options. So again, we talked about the different funding options before. There are several important sources to consider when you're looking to fund your business. Consider all of the options to figure out what is the best choice for you. So some of those key sources is your savings. So many small business owners, entrepreneurs may do what they call bootstrapping their business, where they take their savings that they have, or initial funds that they have, to fund a project, to fund a business. This is from your personal equity, so you do not have to pay these funds back. Some people go to their friends and relatives, or they do crowdfunding. So, you can have a crowdfunding site. I forgot the one that people normally do, to raise funds for your business or for a special project. You can go out and do group funding, market that and advertise that, and have people donate funds to your venture or your small business or your business idea to get started. All right, so you can also have your friends or relatives gift you with money to start this venture. All right, and you can have whatever relationship you have with them. It could be a one-time gift, or it could be something where they are investing in your business to get a return on their investment. So that really depends on what deal you worked out with your family and friends. It's hard to believe, but some people actually do use credit cards or personal credit cards. It may sound like an easy way to use your funding, but you need to use extreme caution, because credit cards may seem like an easy source of capital, but the interest charges on your payments could actually put you in a place where you are getting a hard hit financially. Also, some credit cards, also the interest rates may change, and they do have a right on some credit cards that says we have a right to change this interest rate anytime we feel like it. So, if they raise that price, are you going to be able to afford that payment? Okay. Also, you're paying interest that will be higher than your standard loan for this business. And if you use your credit card, will you have enough on there to use it for another business expense, like buying capital, or if you have to travel or something like that? Will this bottom out your credit card or take all of the money off of your credit card? You need to consider that. So they have banks and non-bank lending options. All right. So lenders can be a very helpful source of business capital. However, you must be able to demonstrate sound credit and the ability to repay the loan. If you have collateral, they are going to ask you if you have collateral. They're also going to look at your credit history, your personal credit history, and your business credit history. We will go over in another session how to build your business credit and what you need to do. If you don't have business credit, if you have poor personal credit, how to build that. Because when you are a small business or an entrepreneur, they do look at your personal credit score for your credit worthiness. So you want to make sure that you have those things in line. So like I said, well, that'll be another show. All right. And then you have angel investors and venture capital firms. All right. So your angel investors and your venture capital firms are investors and venture capitalists that will provide funding for new businesses in exchange for equity or part ownership. This type of equity financing is not very common for typical new small businesses. For example, when I started out, I did start looking for angel investors and venture capital, but because I was doing career services, writing resumes, and business coaching, it wasn't something that angel investors and venture capitalists felt like it was a sound business venture, probably even from past experience of dealing with coaches and things, because there are a lot of pitfalls that can befall a coach that may not befall other people. Getting financing in for from other sources is hard, and there are some very big ebb and flows when it comes to coaching. Even in career coaching, when the market is good, you might not get as many customers. When the market is bad, you might get a whole influx of business. So because there are the dips and things like that, people don't want to take that risk. Okay. So that's just an example, but you can always put your things together and see if you can get that angel investing. All right. So if you are borrowing money, all right, this is the most common source for a small business. However, obtaining a loan is not always easy. We spoke about that a little bit earlier, where you have to have good credit. You have to prove that you can pay that loan back. However, it is the inexperience of a lot of entrepreneurs and small business owners in financial matters that may cause your loan to be declined. Okay. It is important that you know what a lender considers when reviewing a loan request. There are 5 areas that you need to consider. All right. And we are going to go over the first one, and then we're going to go to a quick break. Number 1 is the ability to repay. I know I've said this over and over again, but the same thing with you. If someone borrows money from you, you want them to pay you back. And so the bank goes through different processes to make sure that you can pay them back. All right. And so you must be able to demonstrate, I cannot get my words together, to demonstrate that you can repay the loan that you took out. A lender will look for 2 sources of repayment cash flow from the business and a secondary source such as collateral. So you can have a cash flow from the business, and then they're looking for a second source like collateral. Okay. And so collateral can be if you own the property where your offices are out of, you can put that up for collateral. If you have a vehicle, a newer model vehicle, you can put that up. Any other properties, your home, but I would not recommend that as collateral if you don't have to. But these are the type of things that they are looking for, that just in case one area falls through, they can get their money. They want to be guaranteed that they're going to get their money. So now that we have gone over that piece, we're going to take a quick 30-second break, and we will be back to go through the final 4 things that a bank looks for financing.
From one-on-one executive coaching to our business building concierge service, Venture Ready helps entrepreneurs, startup executives, and business owners build, scale, and run their businesses using techniques that support stability and long-term growth. Through the Career GPS radio show and High Tea with Me TV program, we promote smart business strategies for the real world. Then, in our one-on-one coaching programs, we help entrepreneurs go beyond the vision board to realize their big vision into a tangible business with a promising future. If you're waiting to feel legit, here's the thing: you have to legitimize yourself. It's time to stop treating your business like a hobby. Get real, it's your career. So let me ask you, are you venture ready?
All right. So if you're starting out in business and you need help, going from having it as a hobby versus making it your full-time career, and you need help, contact us. Are you venture ready? If you need help with that project that you're working on, that seems like it's a big load and you need help with that, we can help you out with that. Are you venture ready? All right. If you need help with financing your business or any piece of your business, we can help you with that. We have years of experience consulting, working large projects, and things like that. So give us a call and we can assist you with that. Number 2 is your credit history. They are going to be looking at your credit history. It's the first thing they do before they consider you for a loan. So you want to do everything in your power to make sure that your personal and your business credit is good. All right. Business credit is normally set up through Dun and Bradstreet. If you have any business credit cards, they want to see if you're making your payments on time. Your personal credit report, you have the 3 credit bureaus: Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. I think it's still Equifax. And pull those 3 credit bureaus. You also want to go to the banking system, which I believe is checks. CHEX systems or something like that, or check pay or something like that, to make sure that you don't have anything outstanding as far as your bank, or a old bank account or something like that that maybe you forgot about and it went into delinquency just because you forgot about it. Because the banks look at that when you open up new accounts, when you go for loans and things like that. So you want to make sure that those things are cleared up for you. And I mentioned that simply because I had an old account that was supposed to be closed and had some issues where they sent money. I sent money to that bank by accident because it was set up on an old account, and I had to go in and try to get it, and found out all about this account that had been sitting there that I thought I closed or was supposed to be closed 5 years earlier, and come to find out it wasn't closed. And so it was showing on this report. And so banks will see that and they'll say, oh, she had a account closed and everything like that, and may have had some funds. I had some people, because that bank account wasn't being used and I didn't screen for 5 years, that was kind of coming in and using that account and hacking that account. So you want to make sure that you check that as well. All right. So number 3, they look at your equity. Lenders want to see that you have a certain level of equity in your business before a loan is granted. This is many of the reasons why startups don't get loans, because you haven't had a chance to establish equity in your business. But if you've been in business for 6 months to a year and you have proven that you have equity, that equity will be a plus for you. So typically, a lender likes to see that a business's liabilities does not exceed 4 times the amount of the equity owner has in the business. Okay, so however much equity you have in a business, this is how much your business is bringing in. They want to make sure that you are less than 4 times that amount of what is going out in the business. Okay. Number 4 we touched on was collateral. As we spoke about earlier, lenders like to have a second source of loan repayment. Collateral would be personal or business assets. So if you have a car that you drive personal and a car that you drive for business, they want to make sure to see that. If you have property that you own through your business, they want to be able to see that. or if you have personal property that you're willing to put up for collateral, they want to see that. These are assets that could be easily sold by the lender for repayment of your loan if you don't have the funds, okay? For instance, we talked about it again. Auto loans are collateral by the car that that you have purchased. But again, it needs to be a newer model car. If it's a car that from 1995 and is only worth $500 and you took out a loan for $10,000, that's not going to work. Or $20,000 or whatever. So you want to, consider that cost. Number 5, the thing that that banks look for is they will look very carefully at your experience in running the business that you are running. So before a loan is granted, if you don't have the appropriate experience, your chances of getting a loan are diminished. This is the reason why I was saying, as far as someone who is a startup is less likely that you will get a loan from a bank, because if you have just started your business, they are looking at the experience you have in running that business. You may be able to supplement that if, say, you were a contractor or you have years of experience, and you can prove that years of experience in that industry and being successful in it. You might be able to build the case for that. So, you can try to see what you can do in that area, but typically they do not. So there are loan options available to small businesses. So you have the SBA, the Small Business Administration, that does have guaranteed loans for small business owners. They may even actually approve you ahead of a commercial bank, particularly when you're starting up. You might be able to get those funds. Okay. Before you borrow money for your business, though, you want to become educated on consumer credit. Okay. This means you must do your homework. You must do some research. The information, resources that I'm about to go over with you will help you in getting that education, getting information on the loans, finding out if you are ready to take out a loan to fund your business. Okay. So on the next slide, we have getting assistance. Okay. So I mentioned before, bank loans, you would contact your local bank for that. State subsidized business loans, you would contact your state economic development agency for information on that. For SBA loans, you would go to the Small Business Administration. They have regular loans and what they call micro loans. So there are 2 different types of loans with 2 different types of requirements. The micro loans is not as rigorous as the regular loan, so you could take that option. To find out what the requirements are, you would go to their website here, and I can actually put that in the chat down below for you to get the information on the Small Business Administrative loans, so you can go in and check that eligibility. They'll go through the requirements, financing basics with you, how to apply for their loan, writing a loan proposal. So yes, when you go for a loan, you do actually have to write up a proposal for that. All right. So you need to be well versed in that. Another place you can go for a loan request template is score.org. They have a template for you, and they also have some trainings for you. You can also get from the Small Business Administration the loan package checklist. You have SBA B as in boy, D as in David, C as in Charlie, Net Finance Assistance to help you with your financing of a loan. Is assistance with writing a loan proposal, you can contact the SBDC office. You can contact your SCORE chapter, or you can contact a business coach or a financial planner. They should be able to assist you with getting that loan funding. All right. All right. So now we're getting down to the brass tacks. All right. Which is understanding the numbers. Okay. These elements also compose of 3 primary financial statements internal for your business. These are things that you do want to have in your loan documents. Number 1 is your balance sheet. The balance sheet is considered a snapshot in time and represents the basic financial information on your business. Okay? It's a snapshot in time because once you put that information in there, you're still doing business, so that can change even from the day you print it out. You have your income statement. The income statement is a measure of how a business has performed over a specific period of time, usually 6 months to a year. So again, if you're first starting out in business, it could take you 6 months or even a year to prove that your business is at the state where a bank will consider your equity for your business. Okay? So it measures all your income less all expenses to arrive at the amount of the profit or the loss that you have generated by the business for a given period of time. Okay? Normally 6 months to a year. Your cash flow statement shows all your income and expenses and available cash that you have on hand in monthly intervals. It is intended to help you as the business owner to plan and avoid cash shortages. Okay, so these are financial documents you should be reviewing on the regular. This is why when I tell people, even if you have an accountant, just because you have an accountant, it does not mean that you don't look at your finances. So every month you should be having an appointment with your accountant to go through your balance sheet, your income statement, and your statement of cash flows. Okay, so you know what's going on in your business. Okay, so that is where we are. We are actually at the top of the hour. Okay, but this is what you would need to do to get financing for your business. We did also talk about grant funding, and that this is information that you would apply for. You have to follow the guidelines. First, apply and be approved. You have a certain guideline that you have to follow to apply for that grant. And you have to follow some guidelines to keep that grant as a grant and to maintain that grant. All right. So that's the one piece that we did not come into here when it came to financing your business. We just went through the common funding options that business owners take out. All right. So I do thank you so much for joining me on today. And we will see you next week for the love topic. Thank you so much for joining me. Bye-bye. Thank you for joining us for another episode of High Tea with Me. To be a sponsor or a guest, contact us at info@ventureready.net. Thank you again, and we'll